Welcome to Better Together, Lumberton ISD's quick 10 to 15 minute video podcast just for parents. Each episode dives into relevant topics with expert guests and gives you simple, practical ways to help your students succeed. These short, engaging, and ready-to-use tips are essential because supporting your rater is always better together. This is the holiday season. We're dressed in festive attire here today, and we know that in this season we can have some mental health rises and falls for our students, and so we want to help your students today with some really great tips on what to look for and how you can help your students if they're experiencing any of those things. So today I have some really special, awesome, amazing, talented in their field guests with us. And I want to introduce them really quickly and we'll get started. I have Miss Angela Williams. Angela is a Lumberton ISD employee. She is the support counselor here at Lumberton High School. She's also the mom of 3 boys and is also an LPC. We have Miss Emily Ross. Emily works for Spindletop and she is an LPC supervisor. She is a certified clinical trauma provider. She's a level 2 trauma provider and is a doctoral candidate as well as the clinical intern coordinator at Spindletop. But also importantly, she is the mother of 3 adult daughters. And we also have Miss Danielle Pardue. Danielle is the director of business development and public relations at Spindletop, and she is the proud mom of 3 children at all different ages. She has a high school student, a middle school student, and an elementary student. So welcome, you guys.
Thank you.
We can go ahead and get started here. Let's talk about some real practical ways that parents can help their kids stay emotionally healthy during this holiday season.
Yeah. So I think the holidays in general can be pretty hard. We're out of school, our routines are really disrupted, and that lack of predictability can really cause some extra anxiety. And add in all the travel, extra family members, all the things, and you've raised your noise level, your travel expectations, the event schedule in your family. And things are just really different for our kids during these couple of weeks.
It's the hustle and bustle season,
Yeah.
right? That's what they call it.
Yeah, for sure. And then, Christmas, we're in the giving season, and so you feel that pressure as a parent. I've got to make sure all my kids have equal gifts, and then as a kid, you're comparing, what'd you get for Christmas? What'd you get for Christmas? And I just think that there's so many big things happening around this holiday that it makes it extra hard. And then if your family has recently lost somebody, I think that grief stings a little bit harder.
Absolutely.
Those traditions that you normally would share with them, right?
Yeah, so I just think that there's a lot of factors right now that make holidays pretty hard.
All right, yeah, I know. So Emily, what signs do you see in students this time of year that parents may miss?
So today happened to be wear your favorite Christmas movie shirt at Lumberton ISD, and I happened to make a game to go with this question about things your kids might say. So Ralphie from the Christmas Story, you all know the Christmas Story. Ralphie, I hope, woohoo, Ralphie. So you remember he tried so hard to get that little Orphan Annie decoder ring, and so he used that to decode that super secret message, and the message was awful, right? But but he tried so hard to get that, and I know my kids are like Megan said, my kids are adult girls now, but when they were teenagers, I really wished I had a decoder ring for some of the things that they were saying to me, because I did not understand them at all. So I made a little game about some of the things that they would say and ways that we can decode that. And so I was hoping Angela would help me with this.
Yeah, you get to be a game show
All right.
contestant.
There we go.
And that's literally the little Orphan Annie decoder on there.
I love it.
And poor Ralphie while he's going down the slide. So
Yes.
pick whatever
So I just
one
grab
you want.
one?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's like what teens say. So
Okay.
on the back is something that a teen would say.
All right, my stomach hurts.
My stomach hurts.
That's
So-
something that it's very common.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. And so what do you think that your teen means when they say that? My stomach hurts.
I mean, my middle schooler says that often, and sometimes the stomach really does hurt, right?
Or there might be cramps or whatever.
Right, but we know our kids, and we know, I think, we take a look at them and we go, okay, are they really sick? We check for other symptoms, right? Do you have fever? Is there a cough? Is there a runny nose? Have you vomited? Are there other symptoms that may indicate an illness, or is there something else?
Is it somatic?
Yeah.
And where do you feel anxiety? Anxiety can sometimes be butterflies in your stomach or pains in your stomach. And so sometimes what they're trying to say is that I'm nervous or I'm anxious about something.
Okay.
So you want to pick another one?
Sure. Nothing matters.
Nothing matters.
Okay, here, pretend this is a red flag.
This is
that
a
would
red
be
flag.
a red flag.
It's a big one, guys.
This is a big one, a
matters.
serious one.
Yeah, you want to pay attention when your teen is saying nothing matters. That's really a euphemism for depression. Nothing matters. I would explore that a lot. And I wouldn't underestimate the depth of what that means. I would be asking a lot of probing questions. What do you mean? How long have you felt like that?
Okay.
Are you upset about something that happened today? Are you saying that because you're feeling this overwhelming feeling and you don't know how to verbalize that? Or like, have you felt like nothing matters for a long time? And we're going to give you some ways to, at the end of our fun little game, we're going to give you some ways to get some help with trying to decide that, whether it is an emergency or if they're just trying to say I'm depressed.
Okay.
Or if right now everything feels overwhelming.
Okay.
I am just tired.
I'm just
Oh,
tired.
I hear that one a lot.
Yep.
Yeah. Tired can be tired, bored. Those are euphemism for depression too. Sometimes they are tired because I don't know about your families, but sometimes running around
Yep.
and I have to go to this grandparent and this grandparent, and sometimes there's divorced families and they have to go to their mom's side and their dad's side and this grandparent and that grandparent, and so sometimes they're just tired and it is what it is, and sometimes they're tired because they're depressed and it's all just getting to them. And so just if they're tired and they're saying it all the time and it's out of character for them, that's a big one. If it's all of a sudden a difference for them, if they're usually like an Energizer bunny and all of a sudden they're really just tired all the time, that's when you want to be worried about.
Okay.
Or if you know they've had enough rest, right?
Yeah, that's a good
we have
point.
been resting.
You've been monitoring
well.
how much sleep they're getting.
Yes.
They're going to bed at a decent hour.
Yeah, then
Yeah.
then that would probably, make me think, okay, they're not real, they can't be tired because they've gotten enough rest, so it must be indicative of something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do one more.
Okay, let's see. I don't care anymore.
I don't care anymore. What do you think that one means?
Is that a red
That's
flag?
probably another red flag.
Yeah,
Yes.
for sure.
Okay.
Especially if it was paired with one of the other ones. I don't care anymore. It can be dangerous if you don't care. You don't care
Or
about
nobody
anything.
would miss me. Those are
Yeah.
the other
You would
ones.
miss
It's
Yeah.
kind of some hopelessness.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hopelessness.
Yeah.
Okay.
So at that point, I would ask them, have you been feeling suicidal? Don't be afraid of that question. If you feel like that's something they're thinking about, use that word. And then you can call 988. You can call our crisis line, which we'll have up
Yes.
later.
Yep.
But
And really, and get some people that can help. Don't be afraid to, don't dig your head in the sand.
Yes.
Don't be afraid to ask for help. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so we've been talking about these tips. Those are some warning signs that you may see, but what are some research-backed practical tips that parents could use, Angela?
Yeah, so I know with my boys, when we take car rides, it's just like me and one boy, or even me and two boys. Usually when it's all three, we're fighting, and that maybe isn't the best. But when it's just me and one or two, we can really have some great conversations in the car, and the pressure's down, we're just chatting. And so if I feel like it's getting quiet and, I don't want them just scrolling on their phone, I want to engage them in conversation, we might do a high-low buffalo. And so I love that. High is just, tell me something great.
Good.
Tell me something that's good in your life. And then low, like what's something that's bumming you out that you're not excited about. And then buffalo, random, like what is something that maybe I didn't know about you, or something that you just found out you're interested in. And just kind of starting that random conversation.
And those are good for the dinner table as well.
I love
Yeah.
that. I've never heard of that. That's
We don't do the low, but we definitely do the high. We always say best thing about your day.
Yeah.
And so everybody gets a turn to say whatever was the best thing about the day. But I also like engaging in that conversation about what was low, because those are the things that we were just talking about that may get forgotten or moved
Yeah.
to the wayside.
Could be some flags.
We
Right.
need
Yeah.
to raise those just as importantly as the highs of the day.
I feel like it gives them that safe place to
Yes.
say something that maybe they wouldn't have just blurted out, especially with boys. You know, my boys aren't just open books, right? I kind of have to like turn the pages.
That's
When
right.
you
So-
normalize having those emotion-based conversations,
For
and
sure.
when it's so familiar to have those conversations, it's not as hard to just come and say, "Hey, mom, guess what? I'm like feeling really down."
Yeah.
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 What about a rhythm? Establishing a rhythm. Danielle, have you seen that in your own
Yeah,
life?
so as you mentioned, I have 3 kiddos, a high schooler, a middle schooler, and an elementary kid. And as y'all can imagine with all of your kids, we're going in a million different directions
Right.
every day. And so, especially this time of year when there's dress up days and parties and special events and regular school and extracurriculars on top of that, it's just extra busy. And so my daughter struggles with anxiety and panic disorders. And so when things get out of the norm, those get exacerbated or they
Right.
become worse for her. And so we make sure that we stick to the routine as best as possible, and that we plan and organize our day as best as we can. So setting the expectations for the next day, the evening before, talking through what we have to do and where we'll be at what time is helpful to people with anxiety or her natural worriers. If they know what's in front of them, then they can, better move into that day with confidence. That's what I found in our house.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's great.
So our last segment that we do typically on our video podcast is a segment called When to Worry and When to Act. And these are just really real signals that parents could see in a kiddo, and know when it's time to get help. Like it's past what they could provide and they need to reach out for more. So we talked about those red flags earlier. Is there anything else you want to add to that?
Just any really dramatic change in behavior.
Okay.
So if your child is usually social and excited and enthusiastic about the holidays, and all of a sudden they're sleeping all the time and not engaged and don't want to go to things, anything that's really dramatic
Okay.
and different, that would raise my level of concern.
Okay.
Yeah, and if you hear some of those, little verbiages like, I don't care anymore, nothing matters. Again, that 988 number, if it's a crisis or you feel like it's an emergent situation, is available 24/7. They can help as well.
And kids will sometimes guise things in humor, like
Yeah,
kill me
that's
now,
true.
or
Yeah.
or they'll make like gestures.
Yeah,
that-
and we talk about that at school. You never know when it's the real thing or not. So
Right.
take those things and use them, talk more about them, and dig deeper when you hear those kill yourself, KYS, that's a whole thing, and
Okay.
kill me now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Better to take it seriously, right?
Yes.
And then it, be something that can be handled rather than find yourself in a situation. And then, if it's not a crisis situation, then we of course have plenty of resources and supports available. We serve 5 counties, including Hardin County, so we're available to help. I think we're gonna put the number up on our
Yep, we're
on
gonna put the
screen
number,
here.
the hotline number up on the screen right now, and you want to just go over that with that, and we'll just, so we can make sure we get that information to parents.
So you
for-
can visit us at spindletopcenter.org and find all of the information about our services
Okay.
and supports on an outpatient basis, a location that would be convenient for you. And then there's
What are the age ranges that you guys support?
Yeah, we see youth and adolescents all the way through adults.
Okay.
And so there's an intake process, of course, so we can understand a little bit more about you or your child, to see what types of resources that they may need. So
Okay.
just give us a call. Be happy to help.
Okay, awesome. Well,
so sorry.
I had a parent ask me one time if having a code word is something that is helpful when a student is feeling overwhelmed, something you've talked about before, that you see your kiddo may be worried to say something, or they may not be able to tell you everything. Is that something that you also would suggest would be good as communication with a parent or caretaker? Something that if they're in a situation where they're feeling anxious, or
Like at a Christmas gathering.
a Christmas
especially,
gathering, they
yeah.
could text mom and say, pickles or whatever it may be.
I like that. I like that if they're out with peers and they call and they really want to leave the situation.
Yes,
I like
yes.
that.
Okay.
Another thing I used when my daughters were teenagers. Sometimes they didn't have the courage to tell me something face to face, so we had a journal we'd pass back and forth.
Oh, that is so great.
And we'd write like to each other and then just put it back in each other's bedroom when we were done, and that really gave them an opportunity to be more vulnerable, because we promised each other no matter what was written in there, I would not walk in and be like, oh my God. Sometimes I wanted to.
Yeah.
It's easier to write your thoughts.
Right.
Yeah.
And it gave them a place to be vulnerable. But having those a code word is a brilliant idea.
Okay.
Yeah.
In the school setting, from our experience, we worked with teachers and counselors at one of my children's school, so that if she was feeling those emotions or that worry and that anxiety, she had a little trinket in her desk that she would just slide on top of her desk.
Okay.
And the teacher would know that she was, feeling some of
Right.
those big emotions, and maybe not call on her to participate at that
Yeah.
time, or she'd go over and just kind of quietly check on her. But nobody else really knew what that was for. But that was one thing that helped us in the school setting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
if
and
you're
those are
feeling
things that definitely reach out to the child's teacher or in the counselor at each school. I know our counselors are here at each school here on our campuses to help students navigate through those things.
Yeah,
like that.
for sure. We help kiddos kind of advocate for themselves in that way, even silently, and it's important. So I think that's a great practical thing to put into place for a child who might need that.
Well, in closing, I just want to thank you all for being here today. Thanks you for
having
taking the
us.
time out of your schedule to come and visit with us. Thank you, Angela, for what you do on a daily basis for our students here in Lumberton ISD. And thank you guys for being here to remind us that the best gift that we can give our kids is our presence, that connection, and their emotional safety. And parents, we just want to encourage you. Remember, these small, consistent moments make a big impact. And that's really the emphasis that we want to give to you in these Better Together episodes. So together, we know that we can make a big difference. Our district's here to support you and your family in whatever you need. And we wish you a very joyful and hope-filled holiday season. Bye-bye.